a trip to Insanity Island.
And welcome to the Insanity Island webcast. I am here alone today because Tim is getting married and Doug is now working behind the scenes. Anyway, everybody say hey to Nala. Hey, girl. Hey, Noah. Did you want your treat? Here, come here. There you go. She's beautiful. All right, I'm going to talk from my mouth down now. All right, today we're going to talk about the two-tiered justice system. As most of you know, Steve Bannon is going to jail, supposedly. He got sentenced to 4 months for not cooperating with the illegal January 6th committee. The reason I say it's illegal is because you're not allowed a lawyer. You're not allowed a defense. I don't see how they can call that legal. If I was him, I wouldn't have cooperated with them either. What they're saying is, what Bannon's defense about not going, mine would have been, hey, you guys are, if I don't have a defense, I'm not going to go into a legal scenario without a lawyer. And you can't tell me that I can't, because it's in the Constitution that I can. I don't care if you're Congress or not. You don't have godlike authority over everybody. And if you're not going to allow them to have a lawyer and have a defense and just have a, if it's only the prosecution, well, that's a pretty good setup for the prosecution, isn't it? So all they have to do is just, I would have just said, no, I'm not going. But Bannon cited, which is a pretty good one, executive privilege. You see, once you've been the president, you know all kind of secrets. Gosh knows what you're going to be talking about with other people in the future because you were the president. And quite frankly, your conversations need to be protected. I mean, you had access to everything that is top secret. Your conversations have got to be protected. And of course, oh my gosh, our democracy's under attack. Yeah, those people, they don't want to do that. So, supposedly they're going to send Steve Bannon to jail for 4 months. I don't think that's going to happen. I think he'll appeal it, and I think he'll win on appeal. The January 6th committee is a sham. It's not. There's nothing legal about it other than they're elected. That's it. But right now we have a two-tier justice system. Nala, punch. Lay down. That's a good girl. She's a good girl. Anyway, we have a two-tier justice system. You got Steve Bannon going to jail because he didn't cooperate with this clown show, and yet Hunter Biden, nothing's happened to him. His crimes are on video. I think it's illegal to have drug-ridden sex with prostitutes, period. I think that's illegal. Doing drugs is illegal. Oh, and by the way, selling out favors to the Chinese government, the Ukraine government, that's also very illegal, especially when your daddy is the vice president and now the president. So I'm just curious. Where's the investigation on him? Oh yeah. Let's see. Trump now is being subpoenaed by these people, and I would tell him to go pound sand. He has no reason to go talk to these people. Why would he go talk to a committee that is just trying to set him up to look foolish? He has no defense. They won't allow him a defense. He can't take in lawyers. That's not legal. That's not a legal framework in the United States. Now, if it's China you're talking about, sure, that's probably what China does all the time. But not here. You're not supposed to do that here. But they're doing it because they can, because they're Democrats. They can do whatever they want. I mean, they're investigating parents that voice their concerns at school meetings. They'll go after them, but to hell with actual corruption and crime from Democrats, which is everywhere. and they don't do anything about it. Nothing ever happens. I think people are really tired of it. I think even some people on their side are a little tired of it. As a matter of fact, let's show you what I'm talking about. Okay.
Of former President Donald Trump. He's been sentenced to serve 4 months behind bars after defying a subpoena that was from the House committee investigating the January 6th insurrection at the U.S. Capitol. A judge allowed Bannon to stay free pending appeal and also imposed a fine of $6,500 as part of the sentence. Now, Bannon was convicted in July for 2 counts of contempt of Congress for refusing to sit for a deposition and the other for refusing to provide documents. U.S. District Judge Carl Nichols handed down the sentence after saying the law was clear that contempt of Congress is subject to a mandatory minimum sentence of at least 1 month behind bars. Bannon's lawyers had argued the judge could have sentenced him to probation instead. Prosecutors had asked for Bannon to be sentenced to jail for 6 months. We do have live cameras staking outside of the courthouse. So we have 2 different areas that we have microphones set up.
Okay. I think you see what I'm talking about. He's going to jail because he didn't talk to the January 6th committee. Why is Hillary not in jail? Why is half of the FBI not in jail? Why is Garrett? Why is the DOJ head not in jail? Why are all these people not in jail? None of them are in jail. Nothing's happening to anybody on the other side. But you better not go to a school board meeting and raise heck, because they will come after you. You better. Oh, also they're arresting people that are going to pro-life meetings because they're protesting outside of a Planned Parenthood building. The DOJ is arresting these people. Oh, it's illegal to do that. Well, really? It's also illegal to, I don't know, try to assassinate a Supreme Court judge or protest outside their homes to influence a decision. As a matter of fact, that's right up your alley. That's a federal crime. They did nothing on that. They allowed it to happen. They encouraged it to happen. So that means right now, basically, we're living in a junta, which means banana republic, 2-tier system of justice. If you're on the outs, you're going to go to jail. If you're not, you can literally commit murder. I think the one thing you can't do is talk bad about transgender people, or don't you dare misgender somebody. Don't do it. By the way, just so you guys understand, this is not a new thing. This didn't just happen right now under Joe Biden. This started under Obama, taking the government and weaponizing it against the people, depending on their beliefs, political beliefs, political affiliation, religion, which is very illegal and evil. But hey, that's Obama. I'm going to show you a video from 2013. These people that we're going to hear from were from different organizations that the IRS went after. And listen to the type of questions and the way they treated these people. Of course, they didn't do that to anybody on their side of the aisle. And basically, this is a hearing trying to look into Obama weaponizing the IRS. There was massive evidence for it. This is some of that. So let's go to...
Getting a letter from a federal agency asking for those detailed pieces of information about prayer meetings and views on issues and what your family members are doing. And I read some of those questions, and obviously I came to the conclusion that the IRS felt there was a right and wrong position on those issues, and a right and wrong activity regarding prayer meetings, for example. What was your impression when you received those questions? And I'll start with you, Ms. Garretson.
Well, like I said, when I received those questions, I felt defensive, for one thing, because I felt like that wasn't any of their business. I wasn't going to identify my volunteers. I was fearful for them. If their name was going to the IRS, I know they would be scared. The questions were chilling. I was shocked that I was being asked those questions.
All right. Ms. Martinek?
The most disturbing thing for us was having to agree that we would not protest or picket at Planned Parenthood. And since there was no similar request in the application, really, we had no idea what they were even trying to control. If we went there in prayer, would that be considered picketing, protesting? It was very troubling.
All right, Dr. Kenny.
I immediately reached my target heart rate at that when I opened the envelope. And I had anxiety, and I felt betrayed, absolutely betrayed.
Dr. Eastman.
When our donors were disclosed, a number of them called us expressing concern about that. The effort seems to have been designed to subject our donors to abuse, to intimidation, to hold them accountable for donating in support of the cause of traditional marriage, to boycott their businesses, to target their families, and more significantly for our purposes, to chill them from donating again so we can keep up the political fight that we're in the middle of. There's an unbelievable chilling effect on what happened to us. All right.
I think that our organization, the questions weren't quite as intrusive as some of the other groups, but I was just overwhelmed by the sheer level of minute detail that was being requested, and to try to go back and track down all this kind of stuff, it was, very difficult. It was a very stressful thing having to go through this, and at this point too, now that I think about it, I was looking back through, this is the paperwork, my file, and when I look back through all this information that's been sent into the IRS, and I've heard about these, 157 visits, I believe it was, between the head of the IRS and President Obama, and I'm very concerned. It just makes me very nervous about, was my group being discussed? Was our political activities being discussed? And are we somehow targeted for this? And it's very chilling.
All right, Mr. Kukaji.
Most disturbing to linchpins of liberty, keep in mind that we work with students, some of them minors, 7th graders, that the IRS would ask to know the identity of those students is unbelievably, unconscionably chilling.
And there you go. That was 10 years ago. That's when it began. And now it's on steroids now. They're not even hiding it now. They just go after conservatives simply for being conservative. If you're on the left, you can do whatever you want. As long as you have the right thing. But don't put transgender people there. If you do that, they'll come after you. This segment's called PENDO Saves the World. I have an answer for all of our problems. All of them. Because see, if we win the election in November, what does that do? That's cute. It kind of stops Biden for a little bit. That's about it. By the time we come around to the next election, we don't know where we're going to be at. We don't know what's going to happen. In other words, we can't keep running the country that in a way that the very next election could destroy it. We got to solidify this country better. We have to fix it. Well, the only way to fix it is to fix the education system. Because what we're doing is right now, a bunch of Marxists and communists are training the kids from, that's why they want to put this transgender thing in. They're trying to destroy the family. They don't give a damn about these kids. They're willing to cut their penises and breasts off as children. Heck, when I was a kid, I thought I was the Hulk. Were my parents going to help get me prosthetics to make me be the Hulk? No, I grew out of it. I didn't want to be the Hulk. I wanted to be Spider-Man later. My point is that kids change their minds all the time. You can't just go off. Some kid puts on a wig and all of a sudden he's getting his penis cut off. No, that's insane. We have to start with school choice. Get a good chunk of these kids away from these crazy people. And by crazy people, this is who I'm talking about. Okay, this is what I'm talking about when I say crazy people. These people are teaching your kids right now.
Story time. This has been my first year in preschool with a class of my own. The topic of gender and genitals came up.
I'm a fourth grade teacher. I Hannah Fandensteel am a racist. I am a product of the white dominant structure I was raised in.
Try to talk to your teacher about it and explain to them that this is what non-binary people are doing in the language.
Let me out of this room. You can't lock me in a room.
Yeah, I don't ever remember ever going through school knowing anything about my teacher's sex life or who they had sex with or what their genitals look like. I don't really see the need for this. Why is there 37% transgender kids now? It used to be like 0.6% of 1%. Suddenly, it's half the kids are transgender. Gee, I wonder why that is. What if they're being talked into this by people who are insane? And they're teaching your kids. God knows whatever else they're teaching. That's part of what they're teaching. What you need to do is get your kids out of that, put them in a school of your choice. And when that happens, the kids will grow up and not be crazy. They won't be confused on what gender they are. They won't hate the United States. They won't think they have to be racist to fight racism, which is what CRT is. It goes against every, I guess we just need to take down everything Martin Luther King did, all the statues, just take it down, because I guess he didn't do anything. If CRT teaches that whites are the oppressors, blacks are the oppressed, nothing you can do about it, you just have to be racist against whites, well, then I guess Martin Luther King didn't achieve anything. Let's just tear his statues down, I guess. Anyway, fix the education system and you fix everything. Then you won't have to worry about, oh my God, is the country going to go insane after the next election? Because right now, that's what we have. We're not far right wingers. Doug and Tim and I are not far right. We're normal humans. It's just that to them, we're Nazis. That's what normal people are to these people now. If you care about the flag and family and God, suddenly they're triggered by you. Well, that triggers me that you're triggered by that. The hell's wrong with you? They're trashing on the flag that allows them to be insane like they are. It's like they just don't get it. Go talk to Brittany Griner. See if she appreciates the flag anymore. At least she doesn't have to kneel anymore to that evil national anthem. That's all for today because I don't have anybody to talk to. So I'm just going to let it go at that. Anyway, Chris saves the world in this episode. Fix the education system, which isn't that hard. You just push through school choice. It's done. Because eventually people will leave crazy land if they can and go to regular schools where they actually teach you things like science and numbers, maybe a little bit of history, maybe arts and crafts too, but just not crazy woke crap. But anyway, my name is Chris Pendarvis. This is Insanity Island. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the ring for stuff, bell thing, and whatever the heck else, whatever the other people on the other podcasts tell you to do that here. Do that here. See you next week. I'll be with Tim next week. Doug will be behind the scenes. Tim will be married. Tim will be married. By the way, Betsy, congratulations. Tim, you're lucky.